Hello everyone. So in this session, we are going to extend our knowledge on Informatica data quality. And for today, we have a schedule agenda. That is, first we will try to understand what is data quality. So good data quality is a very kind of old methodology in data. So earlier it was on-premises data quality. We had multiple tools for that, like Informatica, data quality, IDQ and all. But now everything is moving on the cloud, so we have the cloud data quality. But still, the underlying definition of data quality is same. Either it's on-premises, either it's a cloud. So these are just a platform to implement that data quality and all. But the underlying definition is same. Now we have a second agenda, that is we will try to understand the different dimensions of data quality. This is very important in data quality landscape. We have a different dimensions which we will try to understand all the dimension in detail. Then data quality management process cycle. And after that, we'll try to understand cloud data quality services and assets. And then data quality functions, inputs and outputs. So these are the agenda we have for today's session. So let's enjoy our Informatica Cloud Data Quality session. For that, let me start the presentation so that we can start from there. So here we can see our presentation. So let me do the slides of you. So we are going to focus starting for 5 session on the more on the theory part, so that our fundamental part can be clear. We want that before jumping into the more practicals, our fundamentals regarding this data quality, cloud data quality and all should be clear. That's why we are focusing on architectures, dimensions, definitions, services, assets and all. To make sure that our foundation is clear, our base is clear, then we can deep dive into the more project scenarios and more practicals. Okay, so that is the main intention. So let's try to understand first agenda, that is what is data quality. So data quality is a kind of methodology through which we ensure that our data is complete, our data is accurate, our data is complete and ready to be used for any purpose. Either it's for compliance purpose, either it's for regulatory purpose, either it's for warehouse, either it's for consumption in the data management and all. So before pushing data to those processes, we have to make sure our data is having the proper quality, data is maintaining the data quality dimensions or parameters. Okay. So data quality refers to the condition or fitness for its intended use, ensuring that data is accurate. Just a minute. Ensuring that data is accurate, consistent, reliable, and relevant to meet the needs of business processes, decision makings, and analytics. High quality data is essential for organizations to make informed decisions, maintain regulatory compliance, and enhance operational efficiency. Poor data quality can lead to incorrect analysis, lost opportunities, increased costs, and operational inefficiencies. Let's try to understand this data quality practice with some example. So imagine we have a retail company that collects customer data to send personalized marketing emails. If the customer record contains outdated or incorrect information, such as incorrect email address or missing names, the company might send marketing emails to the wrong recipients or miss potential customers. By ensuring high data quality through cleaning up the data, ensuring proper formats, and filling in missing values, The company can improve the effectiveness of its marketing campaigns and customer relationship. So here we saw there is a retail company, and if that retail company will not accommodate this data quality practice, then what could be the consequence of that organization or that company? Okay, so that's why this data quality is a framework which must be used in all the organizations in the multiple project. Let's go to the next slide. Let's try to understand the dimension of data quality. What is dimension of data quality? Let's try to understand it. So the dimension of data quality are the characteristics or attributes used to access and measure the quality of data. So these are the parameters, attribute, or characteristic which will measure the quality of data. That is called the dimension of data quality. These dimensions help organizations evaluate how well their data meets the required standards for business decision makings, operational processes, and compliances. Understanding and managing these dimensions is crucial to maintain high quality and reliable data. We are going to see some key features or key dimensions of the data quality. So the first dimension is accuracy. What is this accuracy dimension? So data is considered accurate if it correctly reflects the real world entity or event it represents. For example, if a customer address is recorded or stored, it should match their actual physical address, not contain error like misspelling or incorrect information. So suppose if we are recording the address of some of our customers, so we have to make sure that the address information is correct. And if someone is sending some kind of address, some kind of post kind of to that address, then that should be delivered. If we have a misspelling or wrong information, so definitely that post is not going to deliver. So company is going to lose the revenue and customers, right? So we have to make sure whatever information we are maintaining, that is having the proper accuracy. For example, maintaining the address information of the customer. What is its importance? So inaccurate data can lead to faulty business decisions and misunderstandings. Okay. Now we have second dimension, that is called consistency. So what is definition of this consistency dimension? Data is consistent when it does not reflect with other data sources. Data is consistent when it does not conflict with the other data sources. Okay. So we have to make sure that whatever data we have in one system, that is having the same meaning in the other system. It does not conflict the definitions. Otherwise, we can have the issue with, we can say the data is not consistent. The same data elements should have the same value across multiple data sets or systems. Okay. For example, a customer email address in the CRM system should match the one in the billing system. So suppose we are storing the customer information in the CRM system. So we have to make sure that for the same customer, if we are storing the detail in the billing system, then that should match. Otherwise, our data is not consistent. We have to make sure that our data is consistent, right? What is its importance? Consistency is vital for accurate reporting and integration between different data sources or systems. So if you perform reportings or kind of compliance measures and all, so if we have inconsistent data in the different sources, then in place of one customer, for the same customer, we can understand it's a different customer. So suppose we have 100 customer for one of the system, but some of the customer data is duplicate because that having different value in the other system. So we can understand in place of 100, we have total 110 customers. So those 10 are duplicate, which is an incorrect value, right? So accordingly, it can impact our reportings, compliance, and other parameters. So we have to make sure our data is consistent. The next dimension of data quality is completeness. Data is complete when all necessary information is present in the data without missing values or incomplete fields. For example, a customer record should have a full name, full address, email, and phone number. Missing the details would be considered as incomplete. So suppose if we are collecting the customer information, so we will make sure that the customer information should have the full name, it should have a proper address, it should have proper email and phone number. So this mandatory number of columns or attributes can change from one organization to other organization, from one project to other project and all. So if we are making sure that this column should not have null value, it should have a complete and correct value. So we have to make sure it will not have the incomplete or null value or some kind of garbage value, so that our data is complete. Otherwise, if we have a name of the customer, if you have address of the customer, but if you don't have email or mobile, then still in that case, we will consider that data is not complete. This data is incomplete. That is not following the data quality dimensions. Okay. So incomplete data can lead to missed opportunities, especially analytics and decision makings. So if our data is not complete, definitely we are going to ignore that data in our analytics and reporting, which is a kind of, which will kind of force us to miss the opportunity. In place of targeting that customer, we are going to lose that customer because that got filtered out. Okay. So we have to make sure that data is complete. Then the next dimension is timeline. When it is up to date and available when needed. Outdated data may lead to poor decision making or missed opportunities. For example, a product inventory database should reflect the real-time availability of the products, not outdated stocks levels. So suppose something, if you are ordering from, suppose Amazon.com or Amazon.in, like you are just typing that I want iPhone 16 Pro, something like that. And the stocks there is showing that stocks are available. But once your order is placed, you are getting a message that we need to refund your amount and all because your product is not available. So this is a very annoying to the customers. This is not a kind of good interactions with the customers. Customer may lose the confidence about Amazon. They can choose other e-commerce kind of applications and all, right? So to make sure that data is updating as per the timeline, like here we are updating the inventory details properly for all the products. Then we are going to maintain the proper relationship with the customer. We will overcome that customer distraction will not be there. Because if something is out of a stock, so we should show out of a stock. We should not show that items are present. Otherwise, if you will not be able to deliver, it's a kind of customer will not be satisfied and we can lose the customer. Right? Now let's move to the next dimension of data quality, that is called validity. So valid data conforms to defined formats, rules, and constraints. It is data that adheres to the business rules and expected values. A data field should contain a valid date and a phone number should follow a standard format. Like, as we know that once we write a phone number, once we write an email, once we write a kind of address, we follow some format while writing, right? So that format help us to understand the data is valid or not valid. Invalid data can cause errors in data processing or analytics and may require extra effort to clean and standardize. The next dimension of data quality is uniqueness. This is very important. Data is unique when there are no duplicates in the data set, ensuring that each data point appears only once. That means each data should have only one occurrence. So for this kind of thing, we use master data management in our real projects to make sure we will have only a single copy of data for the one customer for one product, to make sure data is having the unique value, and that unique value is more trusted information. So we can get this dimension through this mastering of the data. Relevance. Data is relevant when it is inappropriate or when it is appropriate for context in which it is used. Irrelevant data can clutter systems and distract from meaningful analysis. For example, collecting demographic data like age and gender may be relevant for marketing campaign, but not for inventory management. So suppose if we are collecting age and gender of the customer, so this can help us to do the proper marketing for the different products, but this is not going to help us to manage our inventory, right? So importance, relevance data ensures that business operations, decision making, and analytics are used on useful and purposeful information. Next dimension we have that is called integrity. This is very important. So integrity means like once we define primary key, foreign key between the two tables. So as we know that is called the integrity, foreign key integrity, foreign key constraint. So suppose if we have an address information and if we are adding some customer, so that address ID which is present in the customer table should match to the address ID in the address table. Then we will understand that data is consistent or data is maintaining the proper integrity, right? So data integrity refers to the accuracy and consistency of data over its life cycle. It also includes the concept of maintaining relationship between different data points and ensuring data integrity across systems. For example, in a database, foreign key relationship between tables should be maintained and data updates should not break this relationship. Okay, so if you are maintaining primary key foreign key relationship between two tables, so we'll make sure that is maintained for all the data. So if you are updating some information, then this key should not break, otherwise it will violate the data integrity. So data integrity is crucial for ensuring that data remains trustworthy, consistent, and usable across different systems and throughout its life cycle. The next dimension of data quality is auditability, means auditing the data. Data is auditable when its history is traceable. That means once we are maintaining the history of the data, like audit trials, then only we can go back and can understand what happened 2 years back for the data. Okay, so suppose we have a customer information, and if we are not maintaining the audit trial, we are not maintaining the history of the previous transactions. So if suppose issue comes up or some regulatory issue comes up, if you want to justify with proper reason that this customer had requested this address change on this date, that's why his address or mobile number got updated from this to this, right? So we have to make sure that we are maintaining the proper history of the data so that this can help in audit process. Data is auditable when its history is traceable and changes to the data can be tracked, including who made changes, who made the changes, and when that changes was made. For example, if a customer contact information is updated, the system should log the change with details about who made the update and when that update was done. So this too is very important in case of maintaining the history, who updated that information and when that update was done. And for the kind of audit purpose, we should also understand what was the way of the request of the customer, like how customer requested through email, through call, through applications and all. So we have to also maintain that so that we can justify in the future if some issue comes up. Accessibility. Data is accessible when it can be easily retrieved, processed, and used by authorized users without unnecessary barriers. For example, data stored in centralized data warehouse should be easily accessible to the users with the appropriate permissions and roles. Data accessible ensures that team can leverage data effectively for decision making and operational tasks. Next dimension we have that is called conformity. Conformity ensures that data adheres to the established standards of format across the organizations. If the address format is standardized across the organization, for example, we are maintaining a street, comma, city, comma, state, comma, zip code, comma, other things, all should follow this format. All address should follow this format. So conformity means we are defining some format on organization level to maintain some kind of data elements, like for phone number, we should follow this format. For address, we should follow this format. For kind of customer name, we should follow this format, right? So that format needs to be maintained in all the project within that organizations or all the system within that organizations. That is called conformity. If the address format is standardized, then that must be followed in throughout these organizations. Why are these dimensions are important? So these dimensions are important because they represent the criteria that determine whether the data will support accurate analysis, operational tasks, and strategic decision making. Ensuring high data quality across these dimensions will increase trust, reduce cost, and enhance business efficiency. Now, the next agenda we are going to see, what is data quality management process lifecycle? What is data quality management? That is, in short, we call DQM also, DQM process life cycles. This is very important in data quality projects. So the DQM process cycle refers to a set of systematic steps used to ensure that data is accurate, consistent, complete, and usable. This process cycle is critical for organization to maintain high quality data and to leverage it for business decisions, analysis, and operational effectiveness. The DQM cycle typically involves a continuous iterative process that spans the entire data lifecycle, ensuring that data remains high quality from collection through to the analysis. We have some key steps that we follow in the DQM process cycle. Let's try to understand that key steps. So the first step we follow is a data profiling. Data profiling is, let's try to understand the data, character of the data. That data is having how many null value, how many distinct value, what formats the data is following for the which attribute and all. So this all information we collect as part of data profiling. So data profiling involves accessing the accurate state of data to identify anomalous patterns, inconsistencies, and gap in the data. These steps help establish a baseline of our data quality. So what activity we do in data profiling? So we examine the structures, completeness, and format of the data. Then we identify missings, duplicated or invalid data as part of this data profiling. Also, we access the distribution of values like range, frequency, and all. What is the goal of this data profiling? So to understand the quality of data and identify area that need improvement. So this data profiling will give a high level quality of the data or current state of the data, so that from there we can understand what the gap is there in the organization and what the dimensions is lagging in the as part of data quality, and how we can correct it through the data quality process and through data quality tools and technology. So this is the first step where we do a high level kind of data access for the different parameters, for the different dimensions. And from here, we define our further roadmap for the data quality projects. So this is the first step. Second step, we do data cleansing or data cleaning. So data cleansing is a process of identifying and correcting errors or inconsistencies in the data. It involves removing duplicate records, correcting incorrect values, and filling in missing data. So as part of data cleansing, what we can do? We can remove the duplicate records, we can correct the incorrect values, we can fill the missing data and all. What activity we do as part of this? So removing duplicate means identifying and removing the identical record. Duplicate means same records. So we'll try to filter out the other duplicate records and we'll try to maintain one record for the one customer. Correcting in accuracies. So fixing incorrect data such as misspelled names, invalid address or something, we'll try to correct it. This will help us to improve the accuracy and consistency of the data. What is data standardization? So data standardization is a simple which helps to converts the data in the same format or in the same kind of meaning. Suppose there is a country, United States. So someone is writing United States as United States of America. Someone is writing USA. Someone is writing just US. So these three information representing three country, unless we are not making it standardized, right? So what we will do, once we will pass these three information through our data standardization process, so it will point out the same country, although we have the three different value, but internally it will point out the same value. Like these three pointing to the United States of America. Okay. So this is a one example. Data enrichment. So data enrichment is the process of adding values and adding valuable external data to the existing data set to enhance its quality and values. Adding demographic, geographic, or firm graphic information to customer records. Integrating third-party data sources, for example, social media, credit scores and all. So once we integrate these third-party data sources, we can get the more information about the customer, right? So that means we are enriching the data. That means we are adding up more information about the data. That is called data enrichment. To improve the completeness and relevance of the data by incorporating additional external data that can provide the context or insights. The next DQM process cycle we have, that is called data validation. Data validation is the process of ensuring that data compiles with predefined rules and business logic before being used for analysis or integration. What activity we do as part of this data validation? Ensuring that values match expected data types. For example, numerical value in a price field, email format for email address. So if we have email values coming up in a email column, so that must have the kind of email data types defined. Similar, like if we are getting some price information, which must have a numeric data. So we have to make sure that data type is matching for all the information. Validating data against predefined rules of business constraint to prevent invalid or non-conforming data from being used, which could lead to errors in processing or analysis. That's why we have to make sure that data validation is in place. Otherwise, it will prevent invalid or non-conforming data being used. The data is not correct, it's not valid, so that can be utilized, which can lead to the errors in processing or analysis. Data monitoring. To maintain data quality on an ongoing basis and quickly identify address issues. That's why we need to maintain the data monitoring. Data monitoring involves continuous tracking data quality matrices to ensure that data quality remains high over time. These steps include real-time or periodic checks on data quality to spot issues before they escalate. So if you will not monitor these data quality matrices all the time, so maybe some escalation can happen about the quality of data and we can have to pay the penalty also. So that's why we have to make sure that we are monitoring the matrices of this data quality continuously. Data governance. So data governance refers to the overall management of data, including policies, procedures, and a standard that ensure data is properly handled, protected, and used responsibly. The goal to ensure, what is the goal to use this data governance? To ensure that data quality management aligns with organizational goals and regulatory requirements, and that there are clear responsibilities for maintaining the data quality. So the data governance comes mostly for this regulatory compliance part, where this is a very important kind of DQM process which must be followed to avoid any penalties or kind of big escalation from regulatory. Data integration. So data integration is the process of combining data from different sources into a unified view of data. This is simple ETL process: extraction, transformation, and load. So we just try to extract the data from the different sources, combine it, and place it at one place. So this data integration is very important. Sometimes we have to combine the data from multiple sources at one place. So that we can do through this ETL process, through this data integration process. To create a consolidated data set that combines data from multiple sources while maintaining high data quality. Data quality reporting and analysis. Reporting and analytics involves generating reports on data quality, measuring key matrices. What is the goal of this data quality reporting analysis? To track the effectiveness of the data quality program and identify area for the improvement. We can understand which area we need to focus more, which needs more attention for the correctness and all. So that we can get through this reporting and analytics. Because in the real time, we'll have millions of data. So until we are not doing the reporting and analytics automation, we will not be able to understand out of millions of data what is happening, right? So we have to make sure that we will generate the proper reports for the different conditions, for the different business criteria. And if some data set is not following that business process or business logic or business condition, then that must be reported and that must be analyzed to avoid any penalties or kind of any loss of customers. So if we try to understand this data quality management process in short, so we understood data profiling, data cleansing, data standardization, data enrichment, data validation, data monitoring, data governance, data integration, data quality reporting and analytics. Now let's try to understand the next agenda, that is data quality services and assets. So in cloud data quality in CDQ, what services and assets we do have? So cloud data quality services and assets are cloud-based tools and solutions designed to ensure that accuracy, consistency, completeness, and usability of data across various platforms. These services help organizations manage and improve their data quality through automation, integration, and real-time monitoring. What are the key components of data services? So we have data profiling, data cleansing, data validation, data enrichment, data monitoring, data integrations. What the assets we have to have? So in data quality, an asset is an object that defines part of all of the data quality operations. In data integration, assets are mapping, task flows, and tasks such as mapping tasks, synchronization tasks, replication tasks. Data integration assets also include components such as business services, maplets, hierarchy general schema. You can create the following assets in the data quality. What kind of assets we have in data quality? We have cleanse asset, deduplicate asset, parse asset, labeler asset, rule spec, verifier, and many more. So these all assets we are going to understand in more detail in upcoming sessions. What are the key benefits we have for these services and assets? So it provides us a scalability, which will easily handle large volumes of data. Cost efficiency. This is pay as you go pricing model, whatever things you are using, just you need to pay for that. Real-time processing provides continuous data quality monitoring. Automation automates data quality tasks like validation and cleansing. So validation and cleansing we can automate through this automation process. Examples of cloud data quality services includes AWS Glue, Informatica Cloud Data Quality, Google Cloud Data Quality. These are the data quality tools, basically cloud data quality tools. These platforms offer comprehensive tool for improving and maintaining high quality data in the cloud. So these are cloud data quality tools, AWS Glue, Informatica Cloud Data Quality, Google Cloud Data Quality, and all. We are moving to the next agenda, that is data quality functions, inputs, and outputs. So if we define any functions or a kind of any rules in data quality, we need to pass some inputs. And once we pass some inputs, once that information passes to some assets or some logics or some rules, it gives us some output. Okay. So in the context of data quality management, several key functions are performed to ensure data remains accurate, consistent, and usable. These functions work on various inputs. Various inputs means raw data, and produce outputs. Output means is a clean output, validated and enriched data that can be used for decision making, analytics, and other business operations. Each data quality functions ensure that data is of high quality at different stages of its life cycle, helping organizations to maintain reliable, accurate, and usable data for decision making, compliance, and operational efficiency. The inputs generally include raw data and relevant rules or reference sources, while the outputs are cleaned, validated, and enriched data sets that are ready for analysis and use. These functions collectively support a robust data quality management process. Let's try to understand this input and output functions. So first, if we talk about data profiling, so in input, we pass the raw data or metadata in the data profiling. And in output, we get profile data, like profile reports, insights into the data issues and all. So we already understood what we do as part of data profiling. So in data profiling, we pass the raw data and we can see how many data having the a distinct value, how many null value, how many complete value we have, how many formats we have and all. So these are all information we can see as part of data profiling. Data cleansing, we can get clean data, corrected data as output. Data validation, we can get validated data, which will help us to give the error-free reports. Data standardization, it will help us to maintain the uniformity of the data. Data enrichment, so data enrichment means adding the more information on the same data. So what it can give us? So it can give us enriched data with additional informations. Data matching, matching and merging also we do in the data quality, always remember, okay? Similar to the MDM, we do the data matching and merging within data quality also, that we are going to see. So data matching, in input, we pass multiple data sets like records from the multiple sources. Matching rules we will specify. And then on the basis of that matching rule, we can understand the duplicated information. Then we can deduplicate it. That means we can make it consolidated or golden record after merging the records. Data monitoring. So continuous data streams, monitoring rules, real-time alerts, data quality reports. Data governance, in input would pass data policies, what policy we want to incorporate as part of data governance that we can pass in the input. And in output, we can get the governed proper framework and compiled reports, whatever we needed, whatever data policy we have defined, as part of that, we can get the compiled reports. So this all information we can get as part of this DQM process and data quality input and output functions. So let's try to recap once what we covered in today's session. So for today, we had an agenda as what is data quality, dimensions of data quality management process cycle, cloud data quality management services and assets, and DQ functions, inputs and outputs. So today we try to understood basically data quality definitions, different dimensions about data quality functions, inputs and outputs, data quality process life cycle we understood. So these are a very, very important kind of fundamentals for the data quality tools and technology. The tool and technology can change. It could be Informatica cloud data quality. It could be a kind of Google data quality and anything. But this fundamental concept will not change. Mostly it will be same in all the tools and technology. Okay. So we have to make sure that we understand the concept of any tools and technology first in a very detailed and clear way. Then we can go ahead. So we will try to tomorrow to do start some practicals and all. So we will see in the tomorrow presentation, in next presentation, what we are planning and all. So already we have the course content with us. Accordingly, we are going ahead as per that roadmap. So I think that's it for this session. Hope you got some idea about basics of data quality and some more theory knowledge on the data quality. We will try to extend it more further on the coming sessions. So thanks for your time. Hope you enjoyed it and keep watching.